Coming up in today's video, we're going to be talking about some massive things happening across WWE and AEW, including some roster cuts. Also, we got to talk about those AEW stars who aren't happy in the company. And yes, we are going to talk about some massive WrestleMania plans. We're talking about it all right here on The Ango Show. All right, y'all, so we're going to kick things off with some AEW news, more specifically AEW stars not being happy, and even more specifically with that, there's a story about Jon Moxley not being too happy in AEW right now because he was pulled from the Ireland Scrapper Mania indie show. Now, keep in mind, AEW has their house show that gets started tomorrow on the 18th of March, and Jon Moxley is going to be competing there. And basically, Brian Alvarez was saying that essentially, while Moxley understands the importance of attendance with AEW or the big events, he knows his contract and his AEW commitment comes first. The fact doesn't change that all of this happened last minute and left him looking bad to those he had committed to, and it did not go over well. And here's the thing, right? This actually is a bigger issue than people realize, because with the house shows, even though they are committed to AEW and the house shows, people aren't getting paid extra from AEW house shows. It's already been reported online that house shows with AEW aren't paid more because you get a guaranteed contract with AEW, which I think in the long run, without looking at a contract, I would actually say that's a good thing, but it just depends on how it's paid out and all of that stuff. Obviously, AEW stars not being happy in AEW, it's not gonna be like, it's gonna be like the WWE. You're always gonna have people unsatisfied with your job. It's just like the real world. Okay, I think that's the best way to describe it. I could understand why people are kind of annoyed with this, but ultimately he has a right to feel, upset about it. And most importantly, AEW does have a right to use him for the house show. It just sucks. The timing, the dates, the scheduling, everything is just messed up. And you know what? If people aren't happy in AEW, people aren't happy in their regular day jobs working at Walmart or somewhere else. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. You really can't do much to change it. But, things like this, maybe Jon Moxley's an AEW lifer, but for some other people who maybe don't feel like they're successful there, or maybe they don't like how things are going there, they always have an option to go somewhere else. And I think that's the thing that people need to realize. Guys, I want to talk to you about Jay White. WWE is not the only one in the running, because apparently AEW is still also in the running. There's been, for some reason, this huge narrative that WWE is for sure bringing in Jay White. Not sure why. We all know that AEW and WWE are both interested in him. Now, Dave Meltzer has reported that White has yet to sign a contract with either company, and he is talking to both companies. Meltzer did say that regarding Jay White, he was told that Jay White has been talking to WWE but has not signed. He is also talking to AEW. From someone familiar with the situation, they described it as 50-50, which side he would go with. Now, here's the thing. This is all very interesting because WWE is reportedly doing some roster cuts and potentially some more personnel cuts. This is a really interesting thing that Dave Meltzer has kind of talked about with a new report suggesting that WWE could be making cutbacks by WrestleMania or to WrestleMania by bringing in less personnel and a select number of foreign language announcers. The rest of foreign commentators will call the action remotely instead of being at the show. There are going to be cutbacks to the show, but not in ways that any fans would notice. Now, also keep in mind, Wrestling News Co. dropped a premium news story the other day reporting that WWE is very much in a streamlining mode when it comes to WrestleMania 39. They also reported that WWE could potentially have some roster cuts in the very near future. Some people are expecting this. However, keep in mind, WrestleMania season all the time is known for roster cuts. Now, a strange thing that's been rumored is that WWE could potentially actually not be releasing key names anymore. When I see key names, I'm talking about main roster talent. Whether or not this is true, I'm not sure, right? Again, this is just reports. This is just speculation. This is just a rumor that's out there. But the idea is that Triple H and Nick Khan are going to do very similar to what AEW does. And unless it's kind of like a disciplinary reason, they're more than likely not going to release talent. Instead, they're going to let them ride out their contract. Now, the same can't be said for NXT because we know that WWE NXT, especially with the Next in Line program type of thing that they're doing, we know that WWE is kind of doing like those 90-day trial basis type of things where, hey, you come in, if you look good, if you're improving, you get to stay. If you're not improving, you're not developing, they're not going to keep you, which I think that is fair because at the end of the day, there is a difference between the people who made it and the people trying to make it. Once you get an NXT contract, if you were guaranteed to stay forever, you would probably try less as hard. So now this keeps people working harder and harder and harder to get to their eventual goal of being on TV consistently and then hopefully moving up to the main roster one day. So with all of that being said, do I expect roster cuts? Anything is possible. Do I think this is something we're going to notice? No, I don't think so. But if WWE is trying to make all of these cuts and do all of these things prior to a sale, then bringing in Jay White is a very, very weird move because imagine, just hypothetically speaking, imagine if you were to release somebody like Baron Corbin or, I don't know, Tegan Knox again or Chelsea Green again or one of these talents, right? Bronson Reed. Like, imagine like removing some of this talent and then immediately after being like, all right, well now here's Jay White. I just think that would be a bad move. It sets a very bad tone, and I don't think that's what we're going to expect from WWE, but it's going to be very cool to see how WWE, grows from this because WWE, if they're not releasing talent, keep this in mind, and this is a huge if, it only looks cool if WWE is not releasing talent. WWE not releasing talent and grows beneficially by not being dirtbags to these people in the industry. I think it'll be really cool to see that WWE and AEW did something big here. That means that just goes to show you that AEW being in the industry changed the industry for better. And I think that's really important and that's really good. But guys, we got to talk about some big WrestleMania plans. WrestleVotes dropped some stuff today on Twitter, and I'm excited about this. But there is a new main event as well that we're going to talk about. So there's 2 matches, and now we got some even bigger news with the main event we'll talk about in just a second. So WrestleVotes tweeted out, I'm told 2 additional matches are coming to the WrestleMania card, both men's and women's 4-way tags. The men's lineup is currently scheduled as the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Yes, I like this. First of all of these guys are deserving of being on WrestleMania. You know what I mean? A fatal 4-way match. By the way, I think this match is going to absolutely slap. This match is going to be really, really good. You're putting in some really heavy hitters there. They all deserve that WrestleMania shine. Especially look at Ricochet this past year with Triple H coming in. Ricochet has worked so hard, and they've done a good job with Ricochet. This is exciting. All of these guys get the chance to be in a big match. I'm sure that this is going to be a match that a lot of people are going to love. The Viking Raiders as well, getting that tag team moment. I'm excited. Chad Gable. Maybe this is the start of something new for Chad Gable and Otis. Maybe there's something new for Street Profits. I'm excited about this. No plans for the women yet, but if women are doing a fatal 4-way tag match, I would like to see Chelsea Green and Carmella involved in some capacity. It would just be nice to see that they're on WrestleMania. You know what I mean? I think Piper Niven, Nikki Cross, I think, maybe even Candice LeRae, if there's a possibility. It depends with injuries and stuff. But my point that I'm making is that it would be really cool to see some of these women get an opportunity to be in a big-time match. And I'm glad that's the case. However, Dave Meltzer today has also reported that Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley will be the main event of Night 1 WrestleMania, and part of this is due to politics. Now, I can't speak on this, unfortunately, to say that this is a good idea or a bad idea. I don't think this match has a great build to be the main event of Night 1, so I'm hoping that WWE is completely, noticing that. I really hope WWE knows that they can do Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. I think that should be the main event. I definitely do. I think that's the story. If you're going off build and storyline, this is not it. Is this match going to be a banger? Hell yeah. We already know Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, they are 2 talented people. They're going to kill it. Unfortunately, the storyline isn't that great. And it's okay because, again, the match is going to be fine, but it's not okay in the sense of, for somebody like me who likes storytelling, it just, I almost wish it was Rhea versus Bianca in a way, but nonetheless, and this is the thing too that you got to keep in mind, Rhea Ripley's the heel. If she's going to win the title, I mean, I'm sure the fans will cheer, but the fans will be happy. But typically, you want the babyface winning to close out Mania. Typically. We'll see what happens. I don't know what to expect. It's going to be crazy. Guys, let me know in the comment section down below.